we're working with neuroimaging data, which can be very, very large and a bit hard to manage. So we're working through using the Duke computing cluster to pre-process, create things like neural connectomes, getting functional, structural, and clinical data. And then our goal is to, in the coming weeks, process that and then create a deep learning model to hopefully predict future level of impairment for Alzheimer's.
We are working on a project that detects early Alzheimer based on clinical data and also neuroimaging data. While exploring the dataset, we need to know what features that are most important to us and what could help us detecting early Alzheimer.
Everyone progresses in a different rate. So what our project does is we were able to produce a model that will identify patients on the precipice of change so that hopefully we can use those patients in clinical trials. Specifically for functional data, we applied topology, which other researchers have not really explored yet. So we combined all three of these things, and then using that we made a model that will predict how much an individual will change, how much the Alzheimer's will progress for each individual.
This is an example of one of our functional connectomes. The connectome is when you take the brain and parcel it into different regions, and then each of those regions acts as a node in the graph, and then the functional connectivity or the correlation of activity during the fMRI is the edges. So this is a 3D render of the functional connectivity in our brain. And this is during one of those resting state scans. So our hope is that we can extract data from this and get meaningful features from the brain topology, and then put that into our model to get our end goal of essentially we're going to take these different brain regions, these parcellations, get the topological change, and then put those into our topological features for the functional features, and then combine those with our structural and clinical features that we talked about earlier into our potential network, and then hopefully get a future impairment diagnosis from that. The current issue with Alzheimer's is that there are not many drugs that are very effective on the market, and those drugs that are on the market are not, they're pretty dangerous. They have a lot of side effects. So if we're going to develop more drugs, then it's very helpful for a disease that progresses over the course of 20 years to be able to identify when people are on the precipice of changing from one state of cognition to another, because then you can put those people in clinical trials and then more effectively test the efficacy of a drug within a 2-year clinical trial. This also is just helpful in terms of being able to track the progression and predict the progression of a single patient. It's learning how to utilize everyone's skill sets to kind of funnel in and have the project work the best it can. We have some people coming from a strong computational background and not much bio, some people coming from a lot of bio and not much computational. So I think what's cool is combining that and kind of working as a team, we're able to kind of use our complementing skill sets and then kind of move forward together. I didn't expect to get to know that team well.
Yeah,
It's cool because it's we're kind of just roll as a big group of 10 it's everywhere.
But that group, they study brain-related projects as well. I think that's why we two projects are in the same classroom. I've learned a lot from this project, as you mentioned. It can be academic because I have no background in bio before. I know nothing about brain, but I'm really deeply fascinated about brain because I think it's magic how our brain works.
I mean, to me, it's one of the most impactful things that you can do. I think that if we can, successfully create a model that's able to predict future outcomes, that has a really high level of clinical relevance, which, is, in my opinion, you can do some cool things with AI, but being able to use AI to help other people and make an impact on medical outcomes is, it's really, really interesting.